Hello and welcome everybody. Well, you've clicked this video because some part of you already knows. Something's off, right? Let me ask you a question. How many years are you willing to trade? Just to realize too late that you never really lived. Not just existed. Not just followed orders, chased goals, met deadlines, scrolled endlessly. But lived. Felt fully. Chose with intention, loved without fear, took risks without begging for permission. Most people don't get that wake-up call until they're staring at a version of themselves they no longer recognize, wondering where the time went and how they let it slip through their fingers. Here's the truth. Life doesn't take everything from you all at once. It takes it quietly, slowly, one delayed dream, one ignored instinct, one maybe next year at a time. And by the time you realize the weight of what you gave away, your fire, your purpose, your time, you're left with nothing but echoes of what could have been. You weren't put here to repeat days on autopilot. You weren't built for comfort, silence, and regret. You were built to evolve, to choose your direction, to fight for meaning, and to wake up each day knowing your existence matters. But you can't do that if you're wasting life, and don't even realize it. This video isn't soft, it's not surface level, and it's not meant to feel good. It's meant to hold a mirror in front of you and show you the parts of your life you've been avoiding, delaying, or denying. Because these lessons, they come for all of us. The question is, will you learn them in time or too late? So stay. Watch closely. Let every word hit. Let every lesson burn. Because this might be the reminder you didn't know you needed until now. Lesson 1. Time isn't real until you've lost it. Time, it's the most silent currency of life. It doesn't shout. It doesn't remind. It doesn't pause to let you catch your breath. It just moves. And the most dangerous part? It feels infinite. Until one day, it's not. People spend years treating time like it's replaceable, wasting days chasing things they don't believe in, postponing dreams for a better moment, delaying love, forgiveness, passion, growth, because they think there will always be more time to come back to it. But here's the brutal truth. You only feel the weight of time after it's already gone. After the door has closed. After the voice has gone silent. After the mirror shows a version of you that doesn't look so young anymore. It's easy to live distracted when you think you have decades ahead. But the scariest part about life is that you don't get a warning. No alarm goes off before the last moment you had with someone. No blinking light tells you this is the last time you'll feel this energetic, this hopeful, this alive. You only realize it was sacred once it's out of reach. And that's why this lesson hurts the most. Because it's never learned in theory. It's learned in absence. In the guilt of wasted hours. In the ache of opportunities missed. In the quiet moments when you wonder how so much time passed without you really noticing. So don't wait for a tragedy to teach you the value of time. Don't let life humble you before you've even started living. Act now. Move faster. Choose intentionally. Because time isn't real until you've lost it. And by then, it's too late to rewind. Lesson 2. Comfort is the most dangerous addiction. There are no warning labels on comfort, no sirens, no clear signs that you're overdosing on it. That's what makes it so deadly. It doesn't destroy your life all at once. It quietly convinces you that you're fine, that this is enough, that there's no reason to risk discomfort when you already have a routine that feels safe. But here's the brutal truth. Comfort is the slowest form of death. It keeps you stuck in jobs you hate because, at least they pay the bills. It silences your dreams because now's not the right time. It wraps itself around your potential like a warm blanket and suffocates it quietly while whispering, "Relax, you're doing okay." People think addiction only applies to substances or screens, but comfort is the most widely accepted drug on the planet. And the high it gives you is dangerous because it doesn't come with shame. It comes with approval. People will praise you for being stable. They'll admire how normal your life looks. They won't see that you've stopped growing, that you've stopped trying. The most dangerous thing comfort does is steal your hunger, your fire, your sense of urgency. Because when you're comfortable, you stop chasing something better. You stop stretching. You stop being willing to fail. And little by little, your dreams expire. Not because they were impossible, but because you were too comfortable to suffer for them. Comfort zones don't just keep you safe. They keep you small. So ask yourself, what have you not done because you didn't want to be uncomfortable? What goal have you buried because the path to it required pain, effort, or risk? How many years have you spent settling? Not because you couldn't do more, but because you chose comfort over growth? It's time to break the spell. Because while everyone else is numbing themselves with convenience, routine, and false safety, you were built to evolve. And you can't evolve in a room with no pressure, no challenge, no resistance. So if it hurts, if it stretches you, if it scares you, good. That means you're waking up. Lesson 3. If you don't choose your path, someone else will. Every day that passes without a clear decision is a silent decision to let someone else steer. That's the dangerous part. No one grabs you by the shoulders and says, "You're giving your life away." It just happens. One missed opportunity. One quiet yes when you meant no. One week of waiting turns into a year of drifting. And before you know it, you're living a life that doesn't feel like yours. Because it isn't. If you don't claim your direction, someone else will assign one to you. Society, family, fear, the system, all of them are ready with a pre-made life plan. One that keeps you in line, keeps you small, and keeps you too distracted to ask, "Is this even what I want?" You'll be told which job is realistic, which dreams are silly, which steps are smart. And the worst part, you'll believe it. Because when you never took time to decide what you want, it's easy to accept what everyone else expects. But here's the thing, no one tells you. Silence isn't neutral. If you don't speak up for your dreams, you're agreeing to someone else's. If you don't make your own choices, you're living inside theirs. And if you don't choose your values, your schedule, your direction, the world will be happy to choose for you. Not because they care, but because it's easier to control someone who's too afraid to think for themselves. You get one life, one shot at this. And if you don't fight for your voice now, you'll spend years wondering how your life ended up looking like everyone else's, with nothing inside you that feels real. So ask boldly, choose loudly, move intentionally. Not tomorrow. Not once you've figured everything out. Not because the longer you wait to take ownership of your path, the more it becomes someone else's road, not yours. Lesson 4. Not everything needs more time. Some things need to end. We've been taught to be patient, to wait things out, to give more time, more chances, more space. And yes, sometimes patience is strength, but sometimes it's just delay disguised as hope. People spend years stuck in dead-end situations, toxic relationships, empty routines, not because they don't feel the truth, but because they've convinced themselves that more time will fix it, that eventually it'll get better, that maybe the pain is just a phase and the emptiness will fade. But the reality is harsher. Some things don't need more time. They need closure. Dragging something lifeless into the future doesn't bring it back to life. It just drags you down with it. Some friendships have expired. Some goals were never truly yours. Some jobs are slowly killing your spirit. Some environments are shrinking your potential. But instead of facing that with honesty, people keep themselves in limbo, telling themselves they're being loyal, when in fact, they're just afraid to let go. Let's be clear. Endings aren't failures. Endings are decisions. Decisions to stop watering a plant that's already dead. Decisions to choose growth over guilt. To say, this is no longer right for me, and walk away, not because you hate it, but because you've outgrown it. Time isn't medicine if the wound keeps getting deeper. More effort won't save something that's fundamentally misaligned. There's power in quitting the right things, the ones that drain you, confuse you, or no longer reflect who you're becoming. You don't need to keep carrying the old version of your life just because it once felt familiar. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do isn't to try harder, but to walk away faster. And if something deep inside you already knows what needs to end, don't ask for more signs. The truth is already whispering, loudly. Lesson 5. The fear of judgment is a louder killer than failure. Failure doesn't destroy dreams. Judgment does. Not actual failure, but the fear of what people will say if you try and fall short. That quiet, gnawing voice inside that says, what if they laugh? What if they think I'm not good enough? What if I look stupid? That voice, not reality, is what keeps people frozen, paralyzed in comfort, trapped in pretending, suffocating in a life that fits the mold but doesn't fit their soul. You see, most people don't fail because they tried and lost. They fail because they never try at all. They build entire lives around approval, measuring worth through other people's eyes, chasing applause instead of authenticity. They choose silence over speaking up, stagnation over taking a risk, invisibility over standing out, all to avoid one thing: judgment. And here's the dark irony. The people you're afraid of, they're too caught up in their own fears to care for long. The world forgets fast, but you won't. You'll carry the weight of what you didn't do, of the art you never shared, the career you never chased, the words you never said, and all of it. Because you gave strangers the final vote on your life. Here's the truth no one likes to say. You will be judged no matter what you do. You'll be judged for standing still. You'll be judged for moving. You'll be judged for being too loud, too quiet, too bold, too cautious. So if judgment is inevitable, at least be judged for something you believe in. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing the thing while still afraid. And the people who change the world aren't fearless. They're just willing to be misunderstood, because their vision is louder than the crowd, because their regret would scream louder than anyone's opinion ever could. Lesson 6. You don't get stronger by avoiding pain, only weaker. Strength isn't built in comfort. It's forged in the moments when you feel like breaking and choose to keep going. But modern life teaches the opposite. That pain is a problem. That discomfort is a sign something's wrong. That if it's hard, it's probably not meant for you. And so, without realizing it, people spend their lives running, not from failure, not from reality, but from anything that feels heavy, anything that might hurt. But what if pain isn't the enemy? What if it's the doorway? Growth demands discomfort. Every version of strength, mental, emotional, spiritual, is born through resistance. Muscles don't grow without tension. Confidence doesn't rise without self-doubt. Wisdom doesn't appear without confusion, heartbreak, and failure. You don't learn who you are in the moments when everything's easy. You learn it in the dark, when nothing makes sense, when quitting feels easier than breathing, and you choose to stay in the fire anyway. Avoiding pain doesn't preserve you. It weakens you. It trains your mind to flinch at challenge, to run from responsibility, to hide when life demands you show up. It convinces you that numbness is peace, when it's really just avoidance in disguise. The people who build unshakable lives aren't the ones who escape pain. They're the ones who face it, who step into it, who learn how to feel it fully without letting it define them, because they understand something most people don't. Pain is a teacher, and if you're willing to listen, it will show you exactly where you need to grow. There's no shortcut around the hard stuff. There's no version of life that's powerful and meaningful and real that doesn't come with sacrifice, struggle, and sleepless nights. You cannot build emotional armor by staying soft. You cannot become the person you're meant to be by protecting yourself from every sharp edge. The more you avoid pain, the more fragile you become. And the more you face it, the more unbreakable you become. So stop waiting for life to get easier. It won't. You get stronger, not by running from the storm, but by learning to stand in it and walk through. Lesson 7. Most people die full of dreams, ideas, love they never gave. The real tragedy of life isn't death itself. It's reaching the end with everything still inside. A mind crowded with ideas that were never shared. A heart filled with words that were never spoken. A soul that carried brilliance, creativity, and emotion, but kept it locked away, always waiting for a better time, a safer moment. Most people don't run out of time. They run out of permission. They wait for someone to validate their dream, to say, "Go now. It's your turn." But that voice never comes. So they delay. Just one more day. Just one more excuse. They put off their calling for tomorrow, until tomorrow becomes never. So many lives end not in tragedy, but in silence. Books never written. Businesses never started. Apologies never spoken. Forgiveness never given. They die with the music still in them. Not because they weren't capable, but because fear convinced them it wasn't the right time, or worse, that they weren't enough. And what's the cost of that silence? All to avoid failure? To not stand out? To not be too bold? Too loud? Too honest? To stay acceptable in a world that punishes vulnerability but is starving for authenticity? The most dangerous way to waste a life isn't with recklessness. It's with hesitation. Because even if you try and fall short, even if it doesn't go the way you imagined, at least you lived. At least you showed up. At least you dared. But if you don't, you leave this world with nothing but regret. The cruelest weight of all. And maybe worst of all, you take something from the world that someone needed. Your story, your strength, your truth. There are people who would have found healing in your words. People who could have stood taller if you just shared your journey. But they never got the chance. Because you stayed silent. The world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs brave ones. Ones who speak even when their voice shakes. Who show up messy, raw, and real. Who leave nothing behind. No dream buried. No love withheld. Don't die full. Live empty. Pour it all out. The beauty, the pain, the genius, the mess. So when your final moment comes, it finds you spent, used up, fulfilled, and free. Lesson 8. Success without peace is failure in disguise. What's the point of reaching the top if you're miserable when you get there? What's the point of chasing applause, building wealth, and ticking every box if the silence at night feels hollow? If you're surrounded by people but still feel alone? If you wake up every morning with anxiety instead of purpose? The world tells you that success is the finish line. Money, titles, status, numbers. But no one talks about the cost. The friendships you lost along the way, the sleep you sacrificed, the moments you missed with people you'll never get back. No one tells you that sometimes. The ladder you were climbing was leaning on the wrong wall the entire time. Peace is not a luxury. It's the point. Success without inner stillness, without knowing who you are, without alignment with what truly matters, is just a polished prison, a shiny mask. It looks impressive on the outside, but inside, it's empty, heavy, cold. We celebrate burnout like it's a badge of honor. We idolize hustle like it's a higher calling. But no one talks about the nights people cry themselves to sleep after winning. No one talks about the emptiness that success brings when it's disconnected from meaning. Because true success isn't about what you accumulate. It's about how you feel when no one's watching. It's about living a life that feels right, not just looks right. It's about choosing peace over pressure, presence over performance. Peace doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you stop suffering in the process. It means you're no longer chasing approval. You're no longer driven by fear of being not enough. You're no longer trying to win a game that was never yours to play. Real success feels like freedom. It feels like waking up with purpose, not panic. It feels like showing up with joy, not just obligation. It feels like being proud of who you are, not just what you've achieved. So if your definition of success costs you your health, your happiness, your peace of mind, it's not success. It's just a trap with a fancy name. Protect your peace. Because without it, even the greatest life on paper will feel like a prison. And with it, even a simple life can feel like a masterpiece. Lesson 9. Waiting for the right moment is the perfect way to miss your life. How many moments have passed by while waiting for the perfect one? There's a dangerous lie many carry through life. That clarity comes before action. That readiness arrives like a sign from the universe. Not now, they whisper to themselves. I'll begin when I feel stronger, smarter, more prepared. They wait for the noise to fade, for fear to disappear, for circumstances to align just right. But life doesn't wait. Time doesn't pause for confidence to catch up. And the world never stops spinning just so someone can gather the courage to start. In truth, the perfect moment is a mirage. It looks real from a distance, but it vanishes the closer you get. Life will always be busy. Things will always be uncertain. There will never be a time where all green lights shine at once. But while people sit idle, polishing plans and overthinking steps, something devastating happens. The world moves on without them. Dreams quietly rot on the shelf. Moments of opportunity pass by silently, never knocking twice. So many souls live half asleep in the waiting room of life. They wait until the kids are older, until the job is stable, until they feel good enough, until someday. But someday is a ghost. It doesn't exist. What does exist is now, raw, real, and full of possibility. Those who build something meaningful don't wait for perfect timing. They create it. They start scared. They begin messy. They act before they feel ready, because they understand this one truth. Readiness is a result of action, not a prerequisite for it. Fear will always have a reason to delay you. It will wrap itself in logic, disguise itself as patience, and convince you that waiting is wise. But underneath all of that is the truth you're trying not to face. That fear of failing is robbing you of living. You'll never feel 100% ready. You'll never have every answer. And that's okay, because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's doing the thing anyway. So stop waiting for a sign. This is it. Stop waiting for approval. You don't need it. Stop waiting for the storm to pass. Because sometimes, the only way forward is through it. Start the business, write the book, make the move, say the thing. Whatever it is that's been living inside your chest, aching to be born, let it out now. Because if you don't, you may wake up one day and realize you waited yourself into a life that never truly began. Move. Before waiting becomes the only thing you ever did. Lesson 10. Your life is your responsibility. Not your parents', not society's, not fate's. Yours. There comes a moment in every person's life, quiet, terrifying, and deeply liberating, when it becomes painfully clear. No one is coming to save you. No teacher, no parent, no mentor, no partner, no perfect moment, and no external sign is going to appear and magically fix everything. Just you, standing in the mirror with your choices, your patterns, and your future. It's so easy to point fingers. At the past. At the people who hurt you. At the systems that failed you. At the unfair circumstances you were born into. And yes, those things have shaped you, they've marked you, but they don't get to define what comes next, unless you let them. What happens next is yours to choose. Your healing, your decisions, your growth, they're all your responsibility, not anyone else's. And that's not a punishment, it's power. Because if your life truly belongs to you, then you're no longer a victim of it. You're the creator, the architect, the author. No matter how the earlier chapters were written, the pen is now in your hands. You get to decide what the next page looks like. And that kind of responsibility, it terrifies most people because it leaves no one else to blame. It forces you to confront yourself and admit that waiting won't help, blaming won't fix, and excuses won't build anything. Responsibility means choosing growth when staying the same feels safer. It means facing your wounds instead of hiding from them. It means standing in the storm and declaring, "This ends with me." It means understanding that no one else is going to come and make your life what you want it to be. That's a job only you can do. You can't wait for a perfect parent to finally show up. You can't wait for the world to hand you meaning. And you absolutely cannot wait for fate to find you. Your life is already moving. It's happening right now, whether you're ready or not. The days are ticking. The years are passing. And whether you participate or sit back and let it slide by is entirely your choice. Here's the truth that most people avoid. No one is responsible for your healing but you. No one is responsible for your happiness, your peace, your progress, or your success but you. That truth might feel like a heavy weight, but once you accept it, it becomes your greatest freedom. Because nothing can trap you anymore. No one can hold you hostage. You're not waiting. You're becoming. You're building. You're taking control. So take the wheel. Even if your hands are trembling. Own the pain that shaped you, but more importantly, own the power to reshape what comes next. This is your life, and no one else can live it for you. Every second that passes is a page turning, not in someone else's story, but yours. If nothing changes, this chapter will look like the last. The same doubts, the same distractions, the same reasons to wait. But if you've made it this far, then something inside you is ready. Ready to stop letting life happen to you and start living with intention. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because this world doesn't owe you anything. It won't pause for your confusion or slow down for your fear. It just moves, with or without you. The question is, will you move with it? Or will you let it leave you behind? You've seen what wasting life looks like. You've seen the cost of waiting. And now you've seen the alternative. Ownership, responsibility, purpose. That path is not easy, but it's real. And real is better than easy. So breathe, stand up, and take the first step. This life isn't a rehearsal. This is the show. And it's time you stepped into your role, not as a background character in someone else's narrative, but as the main character of your own. Because no one's coming, but you are still here. And that's enough. If this spoke to something real in you, don't just walk away inspired. Stay connected. There's more coming. More truth, more growth, more reminders that this life is yours to build. So if you're ready to keep leveling up, not just once, but relentlessly, subscribe. Hit that button, turn on the bell, and let's keep going. This journey doesn't end here. It's only just begun.